everybody, Eddie Woodchucker here. This is the third video from the series. It's changed slightly. It wasn't going to be about trolling. Unfortunately, once I've put the fish finder part into it, it's actually worked out as a really long video. So what I've decided to do is just make a video separate to the rest. So this is going to be the third video and it's going to all be about fish finders. The fish finder I use is a Lowrance Ti7, which you'll get from the videos coming up, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you're new to fish finders or you try to understand fish finders, this will help you a lot. Enjoy. So this is my Lowrance Ti7, which I use on the boat. It's a big upgrade from my last two models, which I had from Lowrance. I like the Lowrance fish finders. And what I've done is I've changed from a Mark 5X to a Mark 5X down scan DSI. And then I've changed up to this one, so it's a big change. But what I used to like to do is have two finders in boat, one for myself, one for passenger, so you can both keep an eye at the bottom at the same time, which is really important when you're trolling, but we'll cover that later. So I've put it in demo mode at this moment in time, and what that allows me to do, it allows me to play with the finder when I'm not on the water. So in other words, if you're new to it and you get this finder in, first time you plug it is when you're in water, you don't understand what stuff are, what you can do, you can put it in demo mode, which is an American mode, and it shows you an American map on there. And what you can do, you can have a play around with it. You can change the settings, mess around. You don't have to save it. It's only kept in demo mode. And then what you can do, you can go into the live finder. You can actually change all the settings to what you want. You'll understand what to do. You'll understand what a fish looks like differently in different palettes. If you want the same, if you want to be able to come in and out of the different settings to be able to make the bottoms different. There's loads of stuff you can do, and I recommend anybody who gets a new finder and has a demo mode to just spend a couple of hours just playing with it. That's what I basically did, and I've picked it up from there. I'm still not 100% on it, but I'm quite happy at this moment in time that what I see down there is pretty much what I expect. So what we'll do, we'll go into the demo mode, which is in already, and we'll go into the different ones. So what I'll do, I'll use a pen just so I can point. Right, so first one, sonar. Click on that one, it's a touchscreen. This is 2D sonar. This is what generally most people think of when they see a fish finder, when you see them on films and stuff like that. This is what you'll see. So this is what they use on standard boats. I've done really well with that standard 2D, and a lot of people just use 2D. But there's so many different ways you can look at stuff now. And you can look at the bottoms in 2D and side scan. So 2D's lost its way a little bit, but I still really like to have it on my finder. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain a bit. If you've never used a fish finder before, this here is the bottom, the dark line there, that is the bottom, right? This white here is the water column. These are fish, these are little arches, that's a little school of fish, that's a little school of fish there, something hanging off back of that, there could be a pike hanging off back of a little shoal there. Right, the top here, this is what we call the noise. So when your boat's going along, your engine's going along, you've got air bubbles coming off your engine, what this does, it actually shows on there. So chances are this is a boat moving, and what's happening, the boat is moving that way. So anything here is directly underneath the boat, anything here is in the past, so it's behind you. That's quite useful to know. So what it's going to do now, it's set on auto 30 foot. Now what auto does, it locks the bottom. So in other words, what it'll do, it'll keep on showing you full a picture as possible on this screen here. So what'll happen now, you'll see as it goes along, if it goes any deeper than 25 foot, what it'll do, it'll probably go down to 40 foot here, and it'll lock the bottom. So you're seeing the bottom all the way along. Now if you look on that side there, obviously that's not on the bottom, that's, you know, it's only showing top at water column, which is not really useful. So I always like to have it locked on bottom. Now the lake they've actually picked to do the 2D and in fact all the settings is a lake in Oklahoma, and it looks to me, if you look at the pictures, it looks like quite an old lake, but the only thing that makes me think it's quite a new lake is that if you look here, these here are trees on bottom, because there's no way there's, you know, that's 15-20 foot. It could be a really dense weed, I mean really dense, not like you get in UK. But I would suspect that some of these are trees off bottom, old tree stumps and stuff like that. So that would suggest to tell me that this water was filled in. So in other words, it was a village or something like that. And now what you're doing is you're getting all this on bottom. They've backfilled it with water, and they've just left what's down there. So it's like Chew really. If you go on Chew, there's little bridges down there, walls and old farm buildings. There's rivers running into it. And one of the clues that tells me it was not originally a lake is when you look on the GPS, you'll see there's an old riverbed running all the way through it. That generally tells me that it's been flooded or it's been dammed and made into a lake. So it's not the best for seeing features and fish. There's not loads and loads of stuff you can see on here, but it's not too bad. But what you'll see later, you'll see live images I've taken pictures of and stuff like that, which I'll explain a little bit more. So what we've got here, we've got some fish down around here, bit of structure down there on the bottom, little lumps like that. The lumps could be anything, large boulders and stuff like that. You've got some fish arches and stuff here. So it's showing you literally everything. Like I said before, when it goes to deeper, it's actually changed now to 60, and then it's gone back up to 40 because it's come up again. So it's locking that bottom all the way along, so you're getting a full picture of what's happening in the water column. Right, from that one, we're going to go into down scan, which I really like. So we'll go there, menu, but we'll go back actually, it's easy to just go straight back. Go into structure, and that is down scan. Right, down scan is almost like photo imaging underwater. That's how I like to think of it. So it's a more true representation of what you're seeing down there, rather than a fish arch. You actually start to see individual fish and you can get a perspective of the size. So what I've done, it's going through the same bed all the way through these demos. So you will be able to pick stuff up what's happening. So originally on the last one, what you saw here was a flat bottom, and then you saw a hump here. Now looking at that hump, it's something lying down. You can actually see it going down this actual the lake bed. So you're actually seeing what's happening there. That looks like something hard actually lying down on the floor. But when we go down side scan, you'll understand what that is. And some fish shoals on top of it, little small fish shoals. Again, you've got a fish shoal here. You've got some fish shoals there, another one there. Maybe that could be an individual fish, but we'll see. So I got a little bit of weed coming here on the bottom, just coming up off the bottom there, which is not unusual when you see it in lakes. I mean, it's 40 foot deep, so it must have some sort of decent weed structure down there until it gets deeper. It's dropping off now, it's down to 43 feet. Again, you can see it up here, but I prefer to actually look at the bottom and see what's happening here. Right, 2D is fantastic. You can have a combination between 2D and down scan and side scan, but I'll go through those ones later on in the video. Again, this is quite interesting here. Right, see these things here on the right hand side of the screen? They're standing, that's going to be a bait show there actually. They're actually stood up proud off bottom, and reason you can see down here, you see these darker lines. These darker lines are actually shadows, and when the sonar sends out a signal, if it hits anything long standing up off the bottom, it'll actually show you a shadow behind it. So that can tell you they're standing up, which is really useful. Again, it looks like loads of lines coming up. It could be either weed, although it doesn't look that dense to me. It could be anything from old trees where they've had stumps cut off, anything like that. But what you'll see in the picture again, so that's something quite big. That looks to me like an old tree, does that? And it's really, I'd love to see what it really is. So look, see what it is. Yeah, it looks like old trees and stuff like that, but that's definitely a bait shoal there. That's not unusual to find it around weed and structure. So that's 2D. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to swap on side scan. And side scan's quite easy because down scan and side scan are done with the same transducer. So view, and we'll go left and right. So that's left and right on both. Go back and come out. Right, so you'll see it's a completely different picture on side scan, and what we're doing, this middle line is lighter line here, that's your boat. So that literally is your boat going forward. Your boat and your transducer are actually at this moment in time right at the top of the picture, and again everything to left and right is behind you. So what's happening here, this is the exact same picture you've seen already. Only difference is here, what you're starting to see, actually see a bottom structure to the left and right hand side of the boat. So you see around here, some bits and bats on bottom there. Now what it'll do, you can actually go in and take all the water columns. So in other words, what I can do, I can make the, I can make the water column wider, so I can have a look at that. You know, if I want to zoom in and start to see a fish shoal, and if I want to look more on the structure on the bottom and the left hand side of the right hand side of the boat, I can come out as far as it'll go. So it's quite a wide lake, it's at least 180 feet wide. So this is literally the boat, the water column, the bottom, and that's 50, 100 and 200 feet from the boat on the right hand side and on the left hand side. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause it here. You remember the hump we saw earlier on the video? That is it on the bottom. So to me that looks like an old wall or some sort of building that's lying down, and you can see that it's a bit rough on bottom there on that side. So it's actually lying down on your right hand side of the boat, and the end of it is almost directly underneath your boat, 'cause it's just finishing there. So when we just thought that were a hump, and you think, oh, it's just a lump off bottom, with side scan you can actually see a lot more information here. Now again, you see here, see this part here, these like little troughs running round, so these like little troughs running away. So it's obviously a really unusual bottom down there. But again, when we go back, I'll zoom out the map when we go on GPS, and you'll see what it is. Again, so there's some fish structure on here, some little fish balls, which is really, really good. Clear the curse now and it'll go back to where it was previously. So it's now running along alive. We'll see what we can see. You'll see those trees a little bit better somewhere on here, if I'm not mistaken. I like side scan. Now, I'd never really used it. I'd had it on the boat, but I've not really used it. I couldn't understand it. So when I went out over to Sweden, I spent a little bit of time with Gary Benny and Alex on looking at their fish vendors, how they use theirs, and you can pick bits and bats up off them. So I've decided to use it a lot more in the UK, and it's actually really well. I like to have it now on my screen at all times. But again, I'll do that in maps, in where I can actually change different pictures and stuff later. That's another nice, interesting feature. Right, so what we're getting some here, some sort of a rock pile down there, something built up off bottom. Again, you can see its shadow on your right hand side, which means it's stood proud off bottom. Good fish folding spot. Right, what you're seeing now, you're actually seeing stuff off the bottom. Again, see the dark shadows, that means something stood up directly in front of it, not quite tall. Again, you see them in bits and bats down here. Now, how fish look on side scan is quite unusual. What you generally do is, I'll just zoom in a bit. What you generally do, you'll get the picture there. If they're off the bottom, you'll see the picture there, but then what you'll do, you'll also see a load of like black dots around here where the fish is off the bottom, and you see the shadows of them. So if they're grazing on bottom, say it's bream, you'll see them actually individually on bottom, and you'll see the shadows. See these little shadows here? So if, imagine that were a fish, you'd see that afterwards. You'd see little shadows afterwards. Generally, if it's loads and loads of little dots like that, and the little black dots are back, white dots and black dots are back of them, that generally tells you it is fish. Right here, you're picking up a couple of decent stuff here. That to me looks like a large branch or log that's lying on the floor. See that a lot on rivers, and they are major lure losers. So it's always worth understanding what they actually look like. You won't see that on 2D. You'd see nothing at all. All you'd see is the top of these. Now what you've got here, you've got some large boulders. They are tall as well. All along here. Again, you've got tree line down there. What you've got here, you've got something direct under the boat. It's equal on both sides of the boat, which means it's direct under the boat. Here, you can see there, that boulder there on the right hand side, on the left hand side, is closer than the opposite side because it's larger. It's dropping off a little bit here. Again, you're seeing some little fish bits here and stuff like that. Very, very useful. I use this even on rivers now, and it's amazing what you can find on a river. For an example, if you've got a river, imagine this is an actual river and you're going along. I've actually found like gouges that run completely, like faults that run all the way across the river. Now, if you're in flood, if you've got any water pushing through, knowing that you've got a trough that runs all the way across the river is a fantastic spot, especially for a pike angler, and you're actually looking for places that'll hold pike. Perfect place to find a pike when you've got a gouge all the way across bottom. In flood, pike sitting there, bait fish sitting there, and a perfect place to target them. So it is a very, very useful tool. Going back over again now, you can see that thing lying on the floor there, which we think's a wall. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to GPS, which is a different menu. Chart. Right, so this is a GPS chart, and it's one that's actually built into the system already. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come out and show you now where this is. So go out, keep on going out there. Right, and it eventually says the name of the lake on it. There you go. So it's called Skiatuk Lake. Right, and what you can do, you can have a look on there. So you look, it's a huge lake, and you're just going over one little bit of it there. These some markers which I'll run through in a minute. These some individual markers that I've put on that lake to say that look interesting, and we'll do that again later. So it's actually a really, really big lake. If you look, it's absolutely bloody huge. In fact, that's 1 mile, 2, 3. It's, you know, it's 25 mile long. So it's even bigger. Actually, I'll zoom out. I can go out, nearly all the way out. You'll see individual cities and counties. There you go, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, which is, it's, you know, it just shows where you are. This here is where your lake is, Wichita. So you can come all the way out. So you'll literally get all the different states in America, and you'll go, that's as far as it can go out. So you can actually zoom a long way out, and you can zoom all the way back in. Now, reason, I'll go closer now. Right, reason I'm going to show this. This is actually the lake bed. So these little lines here, there's little lines here, show you a depth gradient change from here. So that line is 4 foot all the way along. So in other words, that's 4 foot from there to there. You get down to 4 foot of water. It's a lot tighter here. See, it's a lot tighter there. That tells me there's a steep drop off there, which is usually in these sort of places like outlets. So you see how it's tight to the bank there. So you've only got 4 foot, and then you drop it off between 4 and then down into 14 foot of water. So there's a 10 foot drop between there and there. So if you like fishing, if you're trolling and you know you've got lower runs at, let's say 12 foot, you want to be running your lure in its optimal depth, and it's running at 12 foot along here. So literally it's about 2 foot off bottom, and what you can do, you can turn your boat, you can come in tight here and bring it around there and do it that way. That's how I actually personally troll. I'll follow the contours of the bottom, and I'll look through GPS and stuff like this to know that it's not easy when you've just got a figure underneath you and you don't know what's happening. But if you've got a map, you can have like target spots like this. So in other words, if I look at this, if I like a look at this spot, which I do, I like a look at that. What we can do, I can zoom in on it there, and I'm going to put a little cursor there, right? So what I can do, I can then make that click. So look, I'll do it. Chart options. I'll tell you what. No, the best way to do it is to show you on the map, and I'll come back to this. So, but if what I'm going to basically do, I'm going to go in these sort of an area and think that looks really, really nice. I've actually done some previously here, which are here. These are ones I've done on map before. Right, just there. Just there is a spot I've seen before, and on this finder, in fact, that there is the thing that runs all the way across that looks like the wall. So I've made a rock feature of it, and then up here there's some bait fish. So when I go back onto maps, I'll show you how I can actually see that, and these are on there all the time. This black line is the trail I've actually left when I've been going on. So in other words, if I find fish here, I can go back and forth, and leave a trail all the way. So I know I'm not covering the same water twice. Really, really good if you're a trolling man. Right, we'll go back out, clear cursor now. We'll go back. Right, so you've seen sonar, you've seen structure, down scan and side scan, and you've seen GPS. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you a couple of stuff to work with GPS. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to structure, we're going to go to down scan. Yeah, and we're going to set some marks. So what we're going to do, I've seen that, bang. I like the look of that. I like the look of that point there. Right on top of there, there's some bait fish on top of it. Looks very perchy to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set a marker there. Right, I'm going to set a marker and call it something. I'm going to click cursor. I'm going to go back to there again. Go on top, just there, and I'm going to put one of these on. Now what this has done, this has given me loads of little keys what I can use to make a point and say, right, that is where I'm going to catch fish. So like I said earlier, I like rocks there. It looks like a rock pile to me, so I've put a rock right on top of it there. Now what that'll be able to do, and that's actually waypoint 034. What I can actually do, I can then go to GPS and I can go and put that rock pile in, and I can actually take the boat directly to that rock pile. So you don't have to think, oh, I'm sure it was about 4 foot from that tree over there. You can actually go within I think it's a metre of where you actually put that there. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear that cursor now. I'm going to let it run. I'm going to see if I can find something else, and oh, there you go. Right, that's a nice spot just there. I like the look of that. And what it does as well, it actually tells you how deep it is. So it's actually 14.1. So I'll tell you another good feature. If you go into there, so you've got a hump there. Now if I'm a fisherman, I like humps. I like fish holding spots. There's always fish hanging around humps like there is here. So what I want to do, I want to fish this drop off here. I want to drop, so when it drops down there, so I need to know what the bottom is below the water. So in other words, if my boat's hit directly here and I'm anchored and it's 18.4 foot down, I know that if I cast directly underneath boat, I'm going to hit the bottom at 18.4. Now what I can do, I can count my lure down to get to that. So in other words, if it takes 10 seconds to get to 18.4, when I cast out, I know that it's a little bit deeper. I can actually count it down all the way to the bottom. So you can keep on going that all the way to the bottom. So in other words, if a fish grabs it half depth and you're counting down, you know you've got a slack line take and the fish has come directly off the bottom, hit your lure and taking it. So when you get slack line takes, what they'll do, they'll accelerate up towards your lure, they grab your lure and come towards you a little bit. As they grab hold of it, you feel a slack line, you hit them. So that's a really, really, really good method of, oops, 1 second, I'll just get this back on here. It's a bit better, I think. That's a little bit better. So a really, really good method. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this something. So we're going to set a cursor on it, and we're going to call this X. This is going to be X. Right. I can actually individually name these and say a rock pile covered by baitfish. So at this moment in time, that's 0.35. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to GPS charts. Now these two new waypoints we've put on there. There you go. Just there. You can see them there. Those are your waypoints. We'll zoom in a little bit. There you go. So we know that there's a hump there. We're going over the fish there. There's some more humps of rocks there. And these are all individual things that I do. Now, later on in some pictures and videos, you'll see where I use these. So at the moment, I found a spot that holds a lot of perch. Decent perch, and it's on a hump. So what I've done, I've put marks all the way around that hump, so I know when my boat's over top of them, I know exactly when to drop my lure and exactly where to find them. So again here, some more fish that I've marked tailed on there, just there. The boat's coming up to it now. So theory, if you've got sonar, that should be these fish here because it's coming towards it, so it should be bait fish up in the area. There you go. So it's showing what I'm actually seeing live. Another really nice thing on charts is you can do an overlay. Overlay is fantastic. What it'll do, it records the data of your your side scan, and it overlays it onto this map. So if you press on there now, what it'll do, it'll put the data if you've already been doing. So if you look there, that's the old riverbed. So that's an old riverbed, and you've run all the way down that riverbed. So it's doing it now onto there, so I can know. It actually makes a complete map up of the bottom. Now, some finders like Humminbirds actually can do that live. It can actually do that sort of thing live. And on the new HDS models of the Lowrance, if I'm not mistaken, you could do that as well. So it's really, really clever stuff. Unfortunately, this finder ain't up to this job, but I can record this data and put it over the top, and then go back and watch it, and it plugs into the computer as well. Right, some other stuff I can show you is I like to make my own screens. In other words, I like to mix them up. So what I can do, I can look at these and think, my two favourite at this moment in time are structure. I use structure more than anything. So I'm going to drag one down there. I'm going to drag one across again. Now what it'll do, it'll give me an option here of different ways I can have those maps. So I can have them side by side, or I can have them above each other. I actually like to have them like that. That's why I tend to keep them. So what we're going to do is we're going to save that. And then it's going to put it onto there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it across there. So now I've got side scan left and right on the top, and it's the same place. In other words, there is there. So these bits you can see here are going across the screen at this moment in time here. So you see those little spikes there, all around here. So I like to make my own maps, and that's what I like to do. I'll leave it on that, and I'll look at that most of the day. So what I'll do is I'll think, oh, there's some bait fish down here. Is there anything else down the bottom? Oh yeah, there's some more bits and bats down here. There's some structure on the right hand side. There's a log there. I like look at that log, which could be those there. I like look at that. I'm going to go back and fish that. So then I can set a waypoint and go and look at them. I can actually do this 4 ways. Now, what happened when I got this, within about 6 weeks, Lawrence decided to bring out a 9 and a 12-inch version. Now, I had enough money for a 12-inch version, so I'm a bit gutted about that. But I'm stuck with a 7-inch version. But I can get it all on. But obviously, on a 12-inch, it'll look a lot better. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back out. I'm going to make a new map, and it saves them down here. So in other words, there's all previous ones that you've done down here. So there's all different ones you've done down here previously. So we're going to make a new map, and what we're going to do, we're going to make it a 3-way map this time. We're going to put GPS on, we're going to put sonar on, we're going to put structure. Right, do I like that? Yeah, I like to look at map where I am, because I'm just manoeuvring around a lake, and you can see these and these. I can have there's loads of different options, but we'll leave that at this moment in time. We'll save that, it'll then click straight into it. We'll turn overlay off. There you go, so you can just see it map. So now you can see we're going to be coming up to these spots here. This is a boat, move to these spots. So in theory, if these showing back to back what they're supposed to be, you will see some sort of stone pile coming up here, which is that. There you go. If I'm not mistaken, that's the hump. We're moving over other side of it now. This map will then adjust as soon as it gets, when your cursor gets to the top corner. So it'll go further down the lake, as you'll see. Oh, it won't, because I've just got a click cursor, sorry. So there you go. So that's the old lake bed running across there, all the way along. So you can actually follow that all the way if you want. You can actually run a track all the way down that troll lowers. It's going to be a little bit deeper down there. So that's a 3-way. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do 4, and that's the maximum you can have on at any one time. So I'm going to add another map there. I'm going to do 4. So I'm going to do chart. I'm going to pull chart. Come on. Chart down. Sonar down. Oops, not that one. Structure. Structure. Now I should have down scan. Oh, that's wrong. That shouldn't be that. What am I missing? No structure. Right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a 4-way split. You can do it exactly, and that's on the way it'll do it. It'll only show you equals in each one of them. Right. So we'll save that. Now there's a lot of information going on here, but if I'm on a big water, I like to just, you know, get a general idea what's going on down there. I'll use all those together, especially if I'm actually doing any jigging, because if I'm wanting, I'll always want GPS on if I'm jigging, so I can set waypoints. I don't have to have GPS on. I can set marks on any of these spots, so I can look at that and put a marker on there if I want to do. Put a marker there, bang. Got it's like an arch, old arch, put that on there. So I can do it off there. I don't have to go onto GPS to do it. Where all these marks are, so I can see if it's some sort of, if they're all working, when I'm catching fish or when I'm seeing fish are all around rocks, I'll go back to rocks. What I can do, if I find a feature, I can put marks all the way around it, so I'll know that I won't actually drift over it. I'll go down either side and around it, so I don't disturb fish. So that's another really clever method. Clear cursors and go back again. Right, so that concludes my video on the Lowrance Ti7. This is what I use on boat. You'll see in later footage loads and loads of different examples of fish I found and structure, and I'll try and understand and explain it to you. A fantastic piece of kit, and anybody who's got a boat will fish without a fish finder, I'm telling you now, you are literally missing a trick. And not only that, but I see a lot of lads up river and they'll be fishing lures that go down 5 foot, and I know for a fact they're over 30 foot of water, and they go, "Have you caught any fish, mate?" Yeah, I've caught a couple of jacks, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. They'll say, "Have you caught?" And I go, "Do you caught all, mate?" He goes, "No, I've only had 2 fish," knowing damn well you've done 50 or 60 fishing day. That tells me that they're not using a fish finder. They're not following any structure. They're not looking down and seeing where the lures are running compared to the bottom, and that's the difference. That's what makes you a very good troller. So what the next video is going to be, the big video, is about all trolling. This one's only about fish finders at this moment in time, because it's one of the hardest things, and some of the things you've got to really understand to be able to do any decent sort of trolling and fishing from boats. This is from the weekend's fishing live video, and what it shows, if you look at the top right hand side, you'll see a shoal of perch which are on the left hand side of a load of fry. That's just off a load of reeds there as well, the weeds on bottom. You can just see them coming up about 6 foot, and the 2 lines at the top, that's actually the boat outside of me getting picked up because it were on corner of a boat. Nice bit of footage that. This is a load of roach, and what happened this day, found these roach on the side of a river and cast a load of lures to them. We had 17 pike off this spot, fantastic spot, load and load of pike, all feeding on the roach. Had it for about 2 weeks period of sport, where we got about 16, 17 doubles off it, and then it disappeared and we never seen it again. This is a really good picture. This top and right hand side, that's a load and load of bait. Now it just looks like a solid bottom there, but if you look on side scan, left and right hand side of the boat, you see all individual fish. And if you look down below, this is a GPS where they were found. This was a fantastic spot, and if you look on the far left of the side scan, you'll see a pike. This is a brilliant picture. This picture was taken when I was catching a load of perch. And what happened, they were feeding on a shoal of fry. So the perch are in the centre, the fry are either side, and that's actually perch in feeding mode. They're a brilliant picture, that. Looks good on 2D too. This is actually a perch fishing spot I'm doing at the moment. On the bottom side, you can see the marks I've put up there, the waypoints where the hump is, and you can see the perch on the top left on down scan, and you can see a load of fish on the top right hand corner. This is a large shoal of what were these roach. So this were a group of feeding roach all together in water. Really nice group of fish there. Good returns on both down and 2D sonar. This is a nice feature. This would a load of roach again over a snag. Now, if you look at 2D, it just looks like a blob on bottom. But if you look on down scan, you can actually see the branch line on the side, and on side scan as well, both sides. You can see the shoal stronger on the left hand side. That's it, everybody. That's the final part of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative. I hope I've got across what I can. I do speak really quickly because I'm like a passionate person, so I speak really quickly. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, I'll try and get some Yorkshire subtitles down the bottom. Next time out, we're going to be doing some trolling. We're actually going to be catching some fish. We've actually caught a load already, and we've got it on footage, but unfortunately, I can't put it all as one video. So next time out, we're going to be using these bad boys. We're going to be using all the plugs. Soft plastics, trolling, you name it. It's going to be on this next video. Hope you enjoy it.